November 5th in Saudi Arabia, I am going to deliver a performance unlike anything you've ever seen before. This is what I do. I welcome any challenge and I overcome all of them. Anytime someone says I can't do something, I step up to the plate. My brother is fighting Anderson Silva. A week before, I take on Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. This is simply what we do. My second boxing opponent of all time was Floyd Mayweather, and he could not take me out, and I am not even a boxer. Understand something. I have been wrestling my whole life. This is my sport. This is my industry, and that's why I called out the GOAT immediately. Roman Reigns, you are the head of the table, but brother, in every industry I ever do, I am the table.
What's up, and welcome back to a new video.
I did not know that Stonehenge was so close to London. Lucky for me, we had a billionaire friend who was nice enough to let us borrow his chopper. Now, this structure is magnificent. I've never seen anything like this. There's these giant stones that are like stacked on top of each other in the middle of a field, and no one knows for sure how they got there. People speculate that maybe it was extraterrestrial life. And I'm looking through the photographs that we had taken, and I see one where the sun is hitting the monument perfectly. And it's cool, but then I glance at it again, and in the top left, where it's kind of like overexposed in the clouds, looks like the shape of a flying saucer. It has this really unnatural curve on both the top and bottom, and then if you look closely, resting in the center, looks like what appears to be a cockpit. Maybe it's a cloud structure. I don't know anything, but you tell me what you see in this photo. This photo doesn't make sense. Zero gravity. You've seen it in sci-fi films. There's a plane that takes you up into the air and then dive bombs so it feels like the passengers are floating. And I wanted to go on it. Rented out the entire thing and brought along the 3,000 Polaroids that I had already taken. My goal was to throw all of them in the air when we were at the peak of the parabola, weightless, and I'd be floating around in the center of my work, taking a Polaroid. And wow. The entire plane was completely silent. We could not believe it. Legitimately levitating. It's one of those things where I can describe it as much as I want, but until you experience it, there's nothing like it. This sort of unrealistic reality that has become my life, I felt captured the epitome of this project. And that's why this is number 99. A photo that on paper makes no fucking sense and shouldn't be possible, but it is. This is 99 Originals.
Logan Paul. He's a tremendous athlete. The dude.
Speaking of which, nice. Fireman's takedown.
He's in an actual fight.
All the way to the outside. Logan Paul wasted no time.
Moonsault over the top. It's more from the second rope. Blockbuster.
The ability of Logan Paul has served him well so far, but wow.
Running power slam. Wow.
Cross body to the cover. Oh, and he stands up.
A little bit more. Wait, a phenomenal forearm.
A risk taker ready to take the biggest risk of them all. Unbelievable.
Are you okay?
Stone crushing finale to the cover. 1, 2, 3.
How do I describe this photo? We traveled so far for this photo. Almost the most north you could be on this planet. It is so north that the sun does not even come up over the horizon. So there's only about 2 hours each day of sunlight. We were guaranteed that we'd see an orca. I thought that the orcas would be jumping out of the water and I'd be able to get a Polaroid of like an airborne orca. I guess they don't do that here or something, but we did manage to find a pod of orcas and it was so cool. And here I am at the front of the boat trying to capture them as soon as they come out of the water. The issue was the water is a dark color and it's dark in general in Norway, so the Polaroid doesn't really capture the light well. And so as an artist, again, with the time limit on this project, I had to just take what we got. This is the best we got. We tried to capture an orca on camera, and in the photo we selected, you could see the fin of an orca. That's why I put whale ? And truthfully, it was another lesson for me that, again, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. By far the hardest photo in this collection to take. This was the pinnacle of our light painting experiment. You saw number 50, bullseye. You saw number 15, fortune favors the bull. You saw number 9, exit my orbit. We were getting good at this. So I really wanted to test my skills and recreate the rainbow road we all know and love from Mario Kart. You could silhouette things in front of whatever you were painting, so I got cardboard cutouts of all the Mario characters. I would leave the lens open to capture the lights on the light bar for about 60 to 80 seconds. Put on the back of the golf cart holding the 14-foot light bar, hold it behind the figures, then drive to the very end of the street very slowly. And every time I just wasn't happy with the photo. Took us months, and on literally my last attempt before I went insane. And honestly, I think we just got lucky this night because we had attempted it so many times.
Oh my God.
Mario Kart, Nintendo, that's why it's number 64. Rainbow Road, I'm obsessed with. We were in South Africa as a pit stop because Mr. Beast invited Casey Neistat and I to come film a surviving 50 hours in Antarctica video with him. I've always wanted to go there, so I jumped at the opportunity.
It's gonna be a long 50 hours, boys.
Unfortunately, all of the scientists, I think there was like 12 of them in Antarctica, tested positive for COVID right when we were going to go. So we couldn't go, and unfortunately the trip got canceled. But I figured that I was in South Africa and I was probably not going to come back for a while, and I had to ditch the entire group because no one else wanted to go on the safari. But I knew that there would be amazing animals there that you only see in National Geographic, and I had the opportunity to capture some amazing Polaroids, one of which you're about to see. I was literally sitting under a leopard who was just napping in his tree, full belly, capturing Polaroids.
This is absolutely insane.
This is my favorite photo in the entire collection. I'm obsessed with light painting with a Polaroid camera. We played around with this effect a lot, and every time we did it, we'd learn more and I'd get more ideas. For this photo, we alternated the colors. So it was orange, white, etc. We know water reflects really well with these types of photos. So I stood on one side of the pool while the rest of the team was on the other side. And so these photos took a while because after each one, you'd have to check to see if the settings were right, if it was centered, if you liked the pose. But on this night, we had colored frames, and you never know what color frame is coming next. And on the one take where we happened to get the rotation perfectly in the center with this really cool pose.
But what the fuck is that?
The frame was orange, almost the exact same color as the light when it showed up in the photo.
People have killed people with pictures like these, bro.
The girl is standing perfectly in the center. It's reflected on the top and bottom like a bullseye on a dartboard, and miraculously made one of the coolest photos I've ever seen taken on a Polaroid camera. A dog ate my passport. I know that sounds stupid, but hear me out. We were gonna go to Uganda to capture gorillas on a Polaroid, but my dog ate my passport, so we couldn't go. So we're stuck in Puerto Rico trying to expedite a passport, and my friend Alec Monopoly, the world-renowned artist, also lives here. Well, I texted my other friend who has a jet, and basically was like, yo, can my friend Alec paint your jet?
Back again up in this motherfucker.
We helicopter across the island, just Alec and I, because there was no room for videographers in this tiny little helicopter. And we're in a hangar in the middle of nowhere. Alec has his stencils and spray cans everywhere, and my man just starts painting a G4.
Ooh, chitty, chitty, bang, chitty, chitty, bang.
I could not believe what I was seeing. This is like one of the most recognizable graffiti and street artists.
This is hilarious. He's painting your jet. Y'all have never met. He's painting your jet.
Monopoly man on the front with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies trailing off behind down the side. And so he finished and it looked great. We get in the helicopter and leave like we didn't just tag a $30 million jet.
Bro, what the fuck just happened?
If you ever see this thing flying through the sky with the big Alec Monopoly on the side, just know 99 Originals.
Ooh, chitty, chitty, bang, chitty, chitty, bang.
This guy means more to me than he'll probably ever know until he sees this. I love David Cho. The first time I saw him was on Joe Rogan, and I immediately reached out because I loved his interview so much. The guy seemed like tapped into some otherworldly artistry shit that I just wanted to know more about. And then out of nowhere, he makes and sends me a giant, like 6-foot tall Charizard costume. And then this was right before I was about to fight Floyd Mayweather. And when the fight got announced, you know, everyone's talking shit, saying this and that. Then I get a text from David Cho, very simple, says, "You will win." That gave me so much confidence. I printed out the text text and hung it on my wall to look at every morning before training. And so when he invited me over to his house in LA to do a video and kind of make some art with him and then capture him for my Polaroid project, I was so down. We had a really therapeutic on-camera one-on-one, and I got to sit down with someone who I think is incredible and is artistically like on another level. So he puts on this outfit with socks, and how do I say this? He jerked off in all of the socks. That's what he said! I don't know if it was a joke is what he told me. He's an artist. So he lays in the middle of the floor, I spray paint an outline of him and then just start snapping away Polaroids. Creating art with an artist who is operating on that level, once in a lifetime experience.
When Jake and I were younger, we took a picture with Anderson Silva. I was like 14 years old. He was the first celebrity we ever met. And now 13 years later, my brother's fighting him. So my objective today is to find Anderson Silva and Jake Paul and recreate that picture.
I don't think you're gonna be able to do that.
Hey, this might be it. Hi, Logan Paul here from Logan Paul Vlog. I was wondering if get in a picture and we could recreate the picture that we took 13 years ago. Can we recreate this?
Oh my God.
Do you remember when we met in Ohio? Do you remember that picture?
I remember this picture. Can we recreate the picture?
Both my grandfathers passed away when I was pretty young, so I never really had that grandfather figure in my life until I met this guy, Milton Supreme. Where do I even start? He began as my boxing coach when I first went to fight KSI in 2018. We hit it off immediately. He is a character. He's got a saying for everything. He's from Queens, so he talks like he's from New York, and he works really hard. We would travel everywhere together, and his saying when I asked him if he wanted to join me on these adventures would always be, "Where you go, I go." You got a guy who's been coaching boxers for his entire life, right? Golden Gloves champions in New York, etc. Then all of a sudden he meets this YouTuber at age 65, and we're fighting Floyd fucking Mayweather. He coached me to a degree where I could survive 8 rounds, and not just survive, thrive. You could see Milton was getting pretty emotional on the walk back to the locker room, and it was because I told him that he was basically like a grandfather figure to me that I never had. I love this guy so much. And then he got cancer. Just devastating, you know, where to go from here. So in the interim of this project, when I was not focused on my physical fitness, he got his treatment, and I think it has cleared. I think he's okay. You got this guy who's so full of life, even cancer couldn't stop him. But yeah, Milton, I love you, man. And where I go, you go. Also, whatever this original sells for, I'm giving Milton all the money. He wants to buy new teeth. New teeth.
He's underestimating the fuck out of me. If I can take a Polaroid and get in a Polaroid.
My brother's on the cusp of starting the rest of his life, of really beginning his legacy. You know, we brought it to Cleveland. This is the first step of many. Cleveland showed up. This is one of the best cities on the planet.
For Jake, in the ring, what does he need to do to be successful?
Win.
That's a hard-ass photo.
Obviously, we had to get the king of the jungle, the lion, in an original. And so we found a couple that were chilling in the shade.
This is fucking crazy.
This was so cool. And I probably got way too close to them and got a little too far out the vehicle, but I had to get the shot. Look at this. Leonardo da Vinci, he drew the Vitruvian Man, a 100% pure natural beauty whose arm length is the same as their height. As an homage to him, I wanted to make the Vitruvian Woman. I happen to have a friend who is perfect for this. Her name is Casey. You also might recognize her from the Flat Earth documentary. She was my love interest in the movie. And she was down to do this photo. A giant cutout of a circle and a square against a giant platform that Casey was able to lay on. This photo was so intricate and there were so many details and things that had to go right. She couldn't move between the photographs, for example. She had to be completely still. Casey's enthusiasm about the whole thing was just amazing.
It's gonna get better than this. I came here for one reason only. What's he get?
I think the human body is so beautiful, and using the double exposure effect on the Polaroid made it look like the Vitruvian Man. And sure enough, 4 photos in, we got the perfect one. Casey is now officially the Vitruvian Woman.